Hi everyone, I'm Ankush, and in this video, we're gonna learn about why Next.js is so fast in this age. Okay, so let's get started. So, first of all, first things first, what is the factor which makes a website fast? Let's suppose this is your server, how this thing fast and slow works. Let's say this is your server and this is your browser. Okay, server and browser. Fine. What exactly is happening if you remember on the last video where I told that how web works, uh, your things, your whatever your thing is, let's say my website is youtube.com. So yt.com is available on server. This now will be transferred from this to your browser. How fast this is being transferred from server to browser and at what pace and when you are actually able to see something on your browser will decide which website is fast and which is not. Let's say this is yt.com, let's say this is a.com, and both of these websites are being taken from your browser, from your server to your browser. And let's say this takes your time of 922 millisecond and this takes your time of 500 milliseconds. So this website is fast. Now we are gonna learn how this website, which is taking 500 millisecond, is fast than this website, which is taking 922 milliseconds. So first of all, to learn it, to actually understand it, that how websites are judged as fast and slow, you need to understand that there are four factors by which a website is judged. Like there are a couple of more, but we will be taking these four in consideration only in this video. So the first one is TTFB. What is TTFB? TTFB is time to first byte. This is exactly the time when you type youtube.com to the in the browser, and then after typing it, the request goes to the server, and then the first byte, when it is returned, first byte of data, this is the byte of data when it is returned from server to browser. That time is called TTFB, time to first byte. Okay. The second thing is what you call as FCP. So FCP, first contentful paint. It means this is a web browser, and when was the time when anything from the, like, whatever you can see on the screen, let's say a text of hi or an image or whatever was available on your browser. What was the first thing that was available in the browser and how much time did it took? This is your FCP. The third thing is what you call as LCP, large contentful paint. Let's say there is a website and this website is divided into multiple parts. Let's say this is your hero section, this is your achievement section, this is your, what do you call it, let's say project section. What was the exact time when a large contentful paint, which means let's say this is a hero section and this is a large paint, which basically takes the entire page as of now. Fine. This is your entire home page. Let's say the wide width is 100 VH. This is taking the entire web page. How much time does this entire part, this entire section, hero section, took to load? Okay, this is an example of what this LCP looks like. Fine. The fourth one is what you call as TTI, time to interactive. What time the website was available to interact. Let's say there is a button and this button got loaded quickly, but when you tried to click on it, it was not available to click. Nothing was happening when you tried to click it. It means that this button was inactive in the beginning, but as the time passed on, this became active. It which means the interactivity got added in this particular thing. So these are the four factors on which we are going to judge what website is fast and what website is slow, and how Next.js helps to make websites fast and reduce all of these times and optimize it to the best. Okay. First of all, let me analyze how this what you call as TTFB is being sorted by the help of Next.js. So there's a thing called in Next.js. Like there's a thing called waterfall effect in technical terms. And what this waterfall effect actually does, let me quickly write it for you. So waterfall effect. What's a waterfall? Waterfall is when the water is flowing from a rock surface, like this is the surface. Let's say the water is flowing from here, and then this is another surface. Let's say this is a river. So the water is flowing from here to this place. So this is normal river flowing from some place, and then it is uh, falling down to this particular place where the river is being continued. So this is a waterfall, and how it is working? It is simply taking water from this place to this place like this. Water is falling constantly. In the same manner, in technical terms, waterfall effect simply means that whatever data you have is being loaded one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And in web development, what this one at a time means, it means first your HTML got loaded, then your what do you call as CSS got loaded, then your JavaScript was fetched from the browser. So firstly, this was got from the browser, then the browser got this from the server, then JavaScript was fetched from the server by the browser, and then after this JavaScript was applied, and then after it your whatever your content is, like image or video, whatever it is, got loaded. So things are being loaded one by one by one by one by one. Okay. And since these are being loaded one by one, this actually affects your overall performance. So the overall performance becomes down, it becomes low. Because of it, the TTFB, which is your time taken for first byte, becomes low. It like goes very low because things are being rendered one by one by one. To resolve it, what Next.js does, Next.js brought something into picture, what you call it as server side rendering. So SSR, which means that all of this content you have your HTML, you have your CSS, JavaScript, images and all, these all things will be collected on the server itself. So this is your server and this is your browser. So instead of taking one thing at a time, what this Next.js does, it takes all of these things at a single time, loads them, makes the bundle, and then sends this bundle to your browser. In this way, the first content, this TTFB, got reduced. And how? Because the entire thing was prepared on the server, and your browser does not have to re-render it, does not have to take the HTML and then apply the CSS, then apply the JavaScript, execute the JavaScript and all, and like fix the pages, fix the image and all. It got the bundle and it instantly applied it on the browser. Fine. This is how TTFB was reduced by the help of server side rendering. There is also one more thing which is called static site generation, which means let's say if I go to this website which is called blog.wyangosh.wtf. If you notice here, this is a website which is made on Next.js, and this page you are seeing right now is made as SSG, static site generation, means this page is static, which means that whatever content you are seeing right now, your CSS, your HTML, and your images and all, these all things got bundled once while building. So the difference between SSR and SSG is, in the SSR, things got built on the server each time you request it. But on SSG, things gets built on the server only one time at the build time. Once it is built, this will be sent again and again and again. It will not be built again and again and again. While in the case of SSR, once you request it, it will be built on the server, like everything will be collected here, and then it will be sent to your browser. But in the case of SSG, it will be built one by one, which means when the browser requests, this bundle will always be available here, and then it will be sent to the browser. Fine. Now if I go to this page, it is a static site generation. Now if I click on refresh, you will see how fast it loads, how fast it actually got loaded. The thing to be noticed here is there are images, there is text, there is CSS. Even after it is loading so fast, so ridiculously fast, that you can't just, like, this is so fast, I can't explain it. So yeah, this is fast because of SSG, static site generation, which means the entire bundle is prepared once at the build time, and now whenever I'm clicking on refresh, the entire bundle is loaded. Okay, does it make sense? I hope it should make sense. This is how this issue got solved of TTFB. Now next thing is first contentful paint. How does Next.js solve the problem of first contentful paint? To solve the content problem of first contentful paint, it actually takes the entire HTML. So let's say this is your entire HTML. It actually takes your entire HTML and then it optimizes it. It takes the CSS, it takes HTML and CSS, makes the bundle, and then it sends it. So when as soon as the browser receives your this bundle, it instantly applies it. So it doesn't have to like create a DOM. Like it will create a DOM, but it doesn't have to like create a DOM and then after it apply the damn DOM of HTML, then apply the CSS, and then wait for JavaScript to get loaded. These things are like pretty similar in case of resolving. So this is also getting resolved by your static side generation or server side rendering. This is also being solved by static side generation or and all. Also, there are optimizations for like let's say in Next.js, there's a thing called image tag. This image tag automatically optimizes your image content. Like it doesn't have to, for example, your image got loaded, but on the page it was of this size. But as soon as the other content arrived, this content got shifted here and here, and this content also requested that I want to get this place. So this image has to shift or has to lower down its size. This thing doesn't happen in Next.js because everything is prepared on the browser. Fine, this is how your problem of FCP got reduced. In the case of large contentful paint, what was happening? If you know the concept of suspense, React suspense, this concept is followed, or there's a concept of streaming. Both thing means like they have similar meaning. Suspense is a concept which is used, and streaming is a process. How it is being used? This is your server, let's say, and this here is your data. So instead of sending all of this data at a single time, like preparing the chunk of HTML, CSS, JS, after preparing the entire bundle, instead of sending it the whole bundle at a time, what it does, it sends the bundle one by one. Like if this is the data, first one will be sent. Let's say this is your page and this is a hero section. So only hero section will be sent. And then after the hero section gets loaded completely, the next page, which is your achievement page, will be sent. So data is being sent one by one by one. So it is eventually reducing your large contentful paint. Also, if there are images which do not need to be here, for example, the bundle contains an image which is of 2 MB, which is in the achieve section. So instead of sending this image first in the bundle, this will be sent later. So this is how Next.js optimizes this thing by a concept of lazy loading, which means things which are not needed right now will not be sent. Only the things which are super important to send will be sent. Okay, and concept of suspense is used here. Fine. Last thing which remains is your TTI. What does this TTI means and how it affects it? So before understanding the concept of TTI, we need to understand the concept of hydration. What is hydration? You must have heard this term a lot of times, a lot of times. Like this is the hydration error in hydration in Next.js or hydration bottleneck. What does hydration means? Hydration simply means that whenever the resource is requested from the server, initially only the HTML is sent, and then this HTML is laid out on the page. So now you will be able to see the content. Okay, now you can see the content. But after it, the JS, let's ignore the CSS as of now. The JS is being sent. Since the page is loaded, you will assume that the page is completely loaded, but the JS has not been loaded right now. Why? Because JS is being downloaded from the server. Okay. Now, since the HTML is available, let's say there's a button here, and this button says click me, or maybe whatever it says, you want to click it. Now, when I tried to clicking it, nothing happened, which means, which simply means that this website is not interactive as of now. Why is it not interactive? Because interactiveness is brought by the help of JavaScript. But since JavaScript is not available on this page right now, what will happen? You will not be able to interact with this particular page. Fine. So this is called the hydration error, hydration bottleneck, which means that hydration simply means that firstly HTML will be brought, and then after this HTML is brought, JS will be taken from the server, and then this JS will be applied to the entire page consecutively. Like event listeners will be added, and your data will be fetched from the API or databases and all. These all things will happen once the entire HTML is loaded. So first HTML, then JS is being applied. In this case, in the case of what you call as Next.js, what is happening? Server static components are there, which means that again the same thing, SSR, everything is on the server, it is being loaded, HTML and CJS, everything is being loaded, and the bundle is being sent here again. So this SSR or SSG is doing the work for you. So it contains no hydration. Basically, it does not have any hydration in technical terms, or if I go in too much details. But sometimes, like what do you call it as suspense. We just talked about suspense. Because of suspense, there is a bit of hydration is needed, like just for optimization purposes. Nexus does it sometimes if the page is too heavy or it want to follow the concept of suspense very strictly. It does it sometimes, but most of the work is done by SSR and no hydration is done. So yeah, this is how your Next.js becomes so fast while getting the data from server to the browser. So yeah, I hope things are pretty much fine to you. Okay, thank you so much.